Known for his Tony-winning performance in The Normal Heart, as well as various Great White Way turns in Love, Valor, Compassion, Cabaret, 6 Degrees of Separation, and more, stage and screen star John Benjamin Hickey is back on Broadway in a big way this season. First up, he's offering an incredible performance as the emotionally damaged Henry Wilcox in Matthew Lopez's game-changing new play, The Inheritance. He is then scheduled to switch gears to direct his BFFs, Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick, in a revival of Neil Simon's comedy play, PLAZA SUITE. Hear about why this year feels like an embarrassment of riches and more on this week's Show People. Welcome, John.
Hi,
JBH,
Paul.
John Benjamin Hickey. I'm so thrilled you're here.
I'm
because
thrilled to be here.
You are like part of the foundation of this community. I want to have people on this show that I've admired throughout their career. Ideally, they're in something spectacular right now, and you are. And if there was like an official Broadway acting company, you would be in it.
Oh, God,
right? You'd be one of the members, and you'd be doing like different plays every year as part of this act. Let's do that. Why don't we?
Means the world to hear that. And somebody gave me an article about myself, and it said veteran actor John Benjamin Hickey, and I was like, wow! I woke up, and I was a veteran. So it happens just like that.
It happens overnight.
Yeah, you got a long way to go, though.
It happens because of good work.
Yes, I hope so. I hope so. And I certainly feel like I've been around for a long time, and I feel so incredibly lucky to get to be a part of the Broadway community. I've never, ever taken it for granted. One of my best friends is the great actress Julie White. She's the reason I came to New York. And so whenever something good happens to one of us, meaning a Broadway show, we're the first ones to call each other and say, hey, this is really great. And it is.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
And it's a small world, and you sort of
small.
travel in this small world and sort of know everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. You do. You get to know everybody. And, a lot of the team from this play I'm doing now are from England, and a lot of them have been coming up to me and saying, my God, you're like the mayor, you know everybody. I'm like, well, I've just been in this town a lot longer than you guys have, like, more than 2 weeks.
Okay, so let's talk about this.
Okay.
You're in this play called The Inheritance.
Yes.
I love this play so much.
I'm so glad you do.
It's like my favorite play ever, maybe.
Oh, man.
It's sort of the experience of seeing it. I saw it in London. But when a play comes across agents' desks, right, and everyone says, this is the new gay epic, well, we gotta call John Benjamin Hickey.
Wow, I know.
Is that because when I heard your name in the cast, I thought, okay, well, you have a little bit of a history here because
I know.
Love, Valor, Compassion.
Right, Love, Valor, Compassion
was a huge moment for you.
Yes, my first Broadway play.
Yep. And then you won a Tony for The Normal Heart.
The Normal Heart.
Fantastic. And you've done these, and you've done other amazing plays, playing amazing gay characters, amazing straight characters, all kinds of characters, but those are two really iconic.
I wasn't gay, and then I started doing these plays, and I was like, you know what, I'm kidding. I mean, it's meant the world to me as a gay man who's been attracted to those plays for the reasons that have to do with me and my life, but much more importantly, I've been the luckiest actor on the planet because I've gotten to do these plays that are not just seminal works that speak to the gay experience, but seminal plays in the history of the American theater, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, real game changers. So when this one came across my desk, The Inheritance, it felt like the greatest gift I'd ever been given, both as an actor, as a gay person. It feels like it was my story.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of like, I think I was on my way to do a TV show somewhere, and I had heard the rumors about this play, like here comes this great new American play. And I got a call about it, and before they even got through the, like, they want you to maybe do, yes! I just was like, yes, no television, I'm going to do this play. Yeah.
Well, and I think it'll be very moving for New York theater goers who have seen you in all these things to see you up there.
Oh gosh, I hope so.
Because this is a young company. Especially Lois Smith. We love Lois Smith.
No, we love Lois. Lois is the youngest in the group as far as her energy and her intelligence. And
you are kind of like the senior guy.
I'm the daddy in it.
Yeah. But a lot of these, let's talk about Henry Wilcox. You play Henry Wilcox. You and Lois are the only people that only play one
Yes, that's true.
Right?
Gosh, that's true.
There's a lot of characters in this.
Yeah, Lois Smith and our characters sort of exist outside of this extraordinary narrative that's in this play. This play is, for those who don't know, is a two-part play.
Yes. Almost 7 hours.
Almost 7 hours
completely.
long. And I can tell you, from everybody I know who's seen it, it feels like it's about a half hour long.
Yeah.
It just zooms by. It's like binge watching the funnest, best show. And it's storytellers, these young men, telling the story of the play, and they all exist inside the play and play a lot of different characters except me and Lois.
Right.
And we kind of exist on the periphery.
And I want to talk about this because I feel like when something, and I'm guilty of this myself, when I hear, oh, this is coming from London, it's very acclaimed over there.
Yeah.
And it's based on something really fancy, Howard's End.
Right.
Very famous.
Yes,
Fancy.
very fancy
Very
indeed.
highbrow book.
Yeah.
And it's the new gay epic.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I immediately think, well, I'm going to have to
Homework.
I'm going to get a lot of sleep.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
did that when I saw it in London. I got a lot of sleep the night before. I said, I'm going to go to sleep early.
Yeah, exactly. I
We're
got my
doing
work
a
cut out for
marathon
me.
day.
Absolutely.
And then it ended up being so delightful. I want people to know how damn entertaining it is.
Yeah, it's
and
super-
moving and profound
It's
and
super
all of these
entertaining.
things.
You know, a lot of people have talked about it in relation to Tony's Angels in America, which is
Yeah.
one of the
Right,
great masterworks of the 20th century. And interestingly, I'm a student of that play. It was my generation that all my friends were in it.
Yeah.
Wanted to be in it. That's the one I missed.
Yeah, how about that? Did you audition for it?
No, I had an opportunity to audition for it, but I was doing a play written by David Marshall Grant in Chicago when I was called into audition, and I said I can't go in and audition for it. And maybe I was a little too scared of it at the time, but I was also doing David's play, and he, I think, would probably remember this. I told David, you should go in and audition for this, and he went and auditioned and he got it.
Wow.
That was the last nice thing I did for anybody. But Matthew's play is not a political play. It reminds me a lot more of Terrence McNally's voice in Love, Valor, Compassion. Matthew is incredibly funny. Yeah. So it's a deep play, it's a profound play, The Inheritance. It will absolutely rip you to shreds, but it will make you laugh your butt off.
Yeah.
It's really, really funny. And that was one of the great surprises to me. And I remember after our first preview in London, I was like, this reminds me of something. Oh, that's right, it reminds me of Love, Valor. And Matthew credits Terrence and Love, Valor as being a real kind of seminal experience for him. So you'll have a great time at this play.
It's also very sexy.
It's very, very sexy. The young folks. I mean, Lois and I have our sexy moments, but the kids in this play, the young actors in this play are absolutely breathtaking in how talented they are, and they're also pretty good looking too.
Just like The Inheritance, this time is flying by. It's already time for a commercial break. We'll be right back with more John Benjamin Hickey.
Not to talk.
And we're back with John Benjamin Hickey. So Henry Wilcox, your character. I want to talk about, first of all, I love the name Henry. My dog's named Henry. It's a great name.
Henry is a great name.
It's
a good name for a dog, too.
Interestingly, Henry Wilcox is a character in Howard's End.
Yes,
The exact same name.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is a modern adaptation of Howard's End in some ways. I actually didn't know Howard's End, but I watched it on the plane coming home from London after I watched the movie after I saw
the movie is a perfect movie, I think. I just think
it really
it's one
is
of the great movies ever made.
Yeah. So it was great to see all the parallels.
Yeah.
But it's not one of those like sort of literal like we're just going to tell this story with gay characters. It's not that.
No, not at all.
It works
there
on
are
a lot of
plot
levels.
points that are borrowed beautifully
Yeah.
and liberally from Howard's End, but they happen in kind of an infrequent enough fashion that when they come and it's the same plot as Howard's End, you're like, oh my God, that's in Howard's End as well. Yeah, it's really a surprise.
Would you call it a post-homophobic play?
Oh, I did do that. That sounded really smart, didn't it? Yeah, I really
You're very smart.
When I read this play, it was one of the first plays I'd read that was about the gay experience and gay men, that I felt like there's an enormous amount of pain and suffering in the play, and there's an enormous amount of self-hatred and really, really messed up people, but none of them are messed up simply because of their sexuality.
Right.
There's a lot of other reasons why. And I just found that that was really different than most of the plays I had read. People aren't torturing themselves because of their sexual identity, except some people from the older generation, which brings us back to Henry Wilcox. And Henry's character is a character who came to New York in 1983, was married to a woman.
Literally the same year you moved.
Same
so
year
You're,
that
you're exact contemporaries.
Yeah, exactly. John Benjamin Hickey came the same year.
But he was married to a woman.
Married to a woman with 2 kids, and met a man, fell in love with him, left his wife, and the wife soon thereafter died, and the character in the play. And he and this man are together for 36 years. Walter.
Who you'll fall in love with when you go see
you will totally fall in love with, played by the brilliant Paul Hilton.
Yeah.
And they spent 36 years together, but Henry has been emotionally paralyzed by the calamity, by the AIDS crisis.
You call it PTSD.
PTSD, an
about the AIDS
absolute
epidemic.
form of PTSD, having lived through what he lived through, he and Walter. And I don't think Henry really wakes up to that knowledge until he meets the younger people in the play. And to say anything more would probably be a spoiler.
Yeah.
But it's about the coming together of these two generations,
Right.
and what they can learn from each other. And outside of that, it's about the gay community learning how to bridge the gap between themselves and the generations that came before in order to form their own cultural identity.
Matthew Lopez has talked about, and I think why I related so strongly to this play is because it's really about being the generation after the AIDS epidemic. You know, these younger characters knowing that this horrible devastation just happened, but then sort of this sort of survivor's guilt. I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, it was just 10, 15, 20 short years ago that we were still dealing with it as a major global crisis. And it still is in many, many, many parts of the world, and for many, many people in this country. But this generation of gay men are so liberated by the fact that it's no longer stigmatic. It's no longer a death sentence. It's a manageable disease now. That's 20 short years ago. So it's about that liberation now and what might have been lost and how quickly this generation kind of came into its own.
Right. What about you? If you came to New York in the same year, you came from Texas.
Plano, Texas, a small town.
I've seen you describe yourself as a delicate boy from Plano,
Oh,
Texas.
was I delicate?
Yes.
Yes. I don't
Delicate.
know. I'm sure my
just
brother.
another delicate boy from Plano, Texas.
I'm sure none of my family would agree with that. They'd probably call me like an ass kicker.
You came here to chase Julie White. You knew her there.
Yes, we were both in college together. She left a year
Right.
before I did, and the way people talked about her, her talent, her ambition, her everything, her moxie. I really was like, I want people to talk that way about me, and I kind of
Did they?
just that's
Do they?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a pretty tall order to be talked about, like you talk about Julie White.
So you came to New York.
I came to New York in
to
83.
attend Fordham at first,
Right,
and then you ended up getting into Juilliard, which was fantastic.
Amazing.
But you were living here, and you were sort of that. In a lot of ways, was a horrible time to move to New York City as a young gay man.
Yeah, I was in the closet for many years. I was struggling with my own identity, and a lot of that was because of the crisis. And there was a really amazing piece on the CBS Evening News that Dan Rather did about the Manhattan Plaza, which I'd never heard of.
Right.
And he was talking about how it was this artist's building, subsidized, and the waiting list to get into it was like a mile long, and suddenly within the course of like 2 years, it had gone to nothing, the waiting list, because so many people in the building had died. That piece on the news had such a profound effect on me because it was like Manhattan, artists living together, and then this illness. Right. So, in other words, I came to New York City armored. I came to New York City scared about what was out there. So I was lucky, wasn't I? I was lucky to have been to have had that knowledge.
It's so interesting when we talk about actors coming out. I had Nathan Lane here. We had a whole conversation. When you did Love, Valor, Compassion with him, he wasn't out.
Nope, he was not.
Right?
He
It's so interesting how you didn't sit down and talk. It wasn't just wasn't talked about,
The world
right?
has changed so much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's changed so much. You know, there were 10, 15 years ago, I probably would have thought a lot more about, okay, well, you played 2 gay parts, 2 years ago, maybe you should. People don't think that way anymore. You can make choices based on a kind of freedom that exists that did not before. When I came to New York, you really had to worry about that, and your agents told you to worry about it. And people, so 22, 3 years ago when we did Love, Valor, it was a concern because you wanted to work.
And that really was a big launch for you, Love, Valor, Compassion.
It was my first Broadway experience. Joe Mantello, who remained a great friend and remains a great friend. It was his first Broadway play, mine.
He's doing okay as a director.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
He's a good actor too, but he's doing okay as a director.
He's doing okay. I know, when he did The Normal Heart, we did it together, and Billy Porter came to see it. And he came back to Joe's dressing room and he was so mad. He's like, well, now we know that when you give notes to an actor in an audition, you know what the hell you're talking about. And he certainly does. He's as great an actor as he is a director, which is saying an awful lot.
And you know who else might be similar ways? There might be similar ways to describe you. We're going to talk more about that when we come back from this break with John Benjamin Hickey. We are back with John Benjamin Hickey of Broadway's The Inheritance, parts 1 and 2.
Parts 1 and 2.
See them both. You can do it in one day.
Absolutely. Doing it in one day is like one of the great thrills of your life. It's just an absolute blast. It's really, really fun.
It's a great play. You know what else was a great play? Do you remember the play Shower of Shame?
No.
You don't remember Shower of Shame?
You stumped me. Shower of Shame.
Shower of Shame. It was written by this Catholic guy who had to shower every time he had sex.
Oh, I knew you were. I knew you were. So you were putting me on. I knew it. I knew it. Oh, the Catholic guy.
This was Sex and the City.
Sex and the City.
You were one of the many amazing stage actors who got to play a guy that had horrible sex with one of the women in Sex and the City.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then he was a playwright, and then he wrote a play called Shower of Shame.
Yeah, Cynthia Nixon was my sex mate.
You were with Miranda, yes.
I was with Miranda, the great Cynthia, yeah. Wow.
This seems like a good segue to bring up exciting news that just came out. That
I'm going to be in Sex and the City 3.
No, you will be spending a lot of time in Suite 719.
719, absolutely.
Which is the suite in Plaza Suite.
Plaza Suite.
You are making your Broadway directorial debut.
I am. It's really kind of an embarrassment of riches this year.
I know.
For me. It's
really obnoxious.
Overwhelming, obnoxious, and terrifying and wonderful all at the same time.
Is it terrifying to make your directorial?
It's terrifying to do anything. Yeah, it's terrifying to be in a play. It's terrifying to direct a play.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Everything scares you. Scares me, at least.
So this is the first Broadway revival of Neil Simon's fantastic Plaza Suite, which was a huge hit in 68. And it's starring Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick, directed by John Benjamin Hickey.
Absolutely.
Now, these are friends of yours.
They are longtime friends. Let's hope it stays that way. What if it ends in no more friendship? And what if they split up? Oh, boy.
Did you do some rough readings in their living room with them? Let's just dig open the script and...
We've done several rough readings since we announced it because we're all so gung-ho and excited about it. We did a reading a couple of years ago at Symphony Space, the great cultural institution. We did a reading of it in front of an audience. It went gangbusters, obviously. And we all loved the play so much, and we just thought it was the most undated, unaged play about marriage and children and love and heartbreak. And the two actors, Matthew and Sarah Jessica, play six different parts. They play 3 different couples in these 3 little playlets, all coming to the same suite at the Plaza Hotel. And the amazing thing was there's 6 great parts for them, 3 great parts for each of those actors. So we did the reading. It was a thrill. 2 nights later, we went to dinner. They were foolish enough to ask me, did I want to direct this if we did it? And I was foolish enough to say yes, so here we are.
Wow,
I am beyond excited about it. I think it's such an amazing play, and I just love them both so much as actors, as much as friends. And I just think we could all use a little Neil Simon right now.
Let's talk about Neil Simon, because I was obsessed with Neil Simon when I was in high school and grade school.
Me too.
I was reading his plays and watching the movies, and every season there'd be a new Neil Simon play. It was so exciting.
The Fireside Theater, you'd get your copies of his plays.
Of course. And I loved them so much, but they're not produced much. And Plaza Suite's never been produced. And I would say that it was looking for a great star pair like Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick.
Right. It was originally done with the great Maureen Stapleton and George C. Scott.
Right. It seems like maybe you need sort of a little star power
to it. Broadway is very expensive real estate. So of course the answer to that question is yes. And there's also the wonderful meta quality to the fact that these 2 people who are playing married people in various stages of their marriages in the play also happen to be married to each other in life is a wonderful thing. It wasn't just a good idea for them. It was a good idea because the play is so magnificent. And when you hear Neil's writing, you really do. If you pick it up and read it again, or when you see it, hopefully.
We're all going to see it.
Oh, good. You're like, oh my God, my DNA. He's in my DNA, and my ear and my heart miss the way he writes. The way he writes comedy. the way he writes human beings. I realized when I read it, when we read it, we really miss him in our lives. And I agree with you. He was the most important playwright to me as a young person, as much as Tennessee Williams or Arthur Miller, and he's one of the most important playwrights, certainly of the 20th century. And it's really exciting to get to help bring him back. And the other great thing is one of my other great heroes in this business is Mike Nichols. And Mike directed the original production.
Won a Tony
for it. I knew Mike a little bit, and I knew his sense of humor. We all did, from his extraordinary body of work. And I feel like Mike's in the play too. So if I can walk in to my first day of rehearsal with Mike here and Neil here on my shoulder, then I feel like I'm surrounded by, you know, the greats. And I also have an amazing design team. I'm not an idiot. As my Broadway debut, I'm surrounding myself with a lot of people who can help, you know, lift me up.
It was also so important to sort of the allure of New York City and the magic of New York City, Neil Simon's plays. And then Sex and the City did the same thing for a whole other generation.
Yeah, and one of the great things about that is people who come from, let's say, out of town or in town, because they want to see Matthew and Sarah Jessica in a play, who maybe don't know Neil Simon, you get to see Sarah Jessica Parker change her clothes 3 times in this play. That's going to be like, that's a very satisfying lure.
So the most stressful thing about directing Sarah Jessica Parker on a play is that you have to get the fashion right.
Oh, yes. We have Jane Greenwood is doing
so I'm not worried.
Yeah, I'm not worried either. Yeah, and Sarah knows a thing or two as well. So yeah, it's incredibly exciting to be able to direct 2 people I love so much. Really,
what do you think is the secret to their chemistry? They haven't done that much.
I know. Maybe that's it.
They were. I mean, they were in How to Succeed. I was lucky enough to see them in that many years ago.
Wonderful. But you know, that is kind of like not completely like what we're doing, because Matthew had already been doing the show for a year when Sarah went into it.
Yeah.
So that wasn't, they didn't get to rehearse together that much.
Right.
I don't
know.
know.
So is it fun to watch them
it really
play
is.
with each other?
And they've been together a long time now.
Yeah.
And I think they're at a place in their lives where they would not have made this decision to work together without thinking about it and without knowing that now was the time and now was a really, really good idea in this play. It's always about the play. I think when they read that play, like, oh my God, this is the thing we want to do. Yeah.
You think they're home right now running lines?
They better be. They better be.
They better be.
I live in the same neighborhood. I'm going to have like a neighborhood watch.
Oh, I'm so excited. So that's happening in Boston early in the year?
Yeah, Boston.
Coming to Broadway.
I'm taking just a very brief break from The Inheritance to do it, and we'll come back in. So yeah, it's a crazy time, and Tom Curtihy, our brilliant producer on The Inheritance, and I talked to him about this because this was in the works, Plaza Suite, and he was like, we'll do our best to make it happen, and they have. So I'm incredibly, incredibly fortunate.
I love it. There's a lot of John Benjamin Hickey to go
There is
around.
a lot.
So The Inheritance at the Barrymore Theater, and then Plaza Suite is...
It's going to be in Boston at the Colonial, and
That's
then we'll come
fancy,
in
beautiful
very fancy and beautiful theater, and then come into the Hudson, a theater I absolutely love. Sometimes they renovate theaters and the ghosts leave, and I will not name those theaters, and sometimes they renovate them and the ghosts decide to stay.
So you have confirmation that the ghosts are at the
No,
Hudson?
and I don't really even believe in ghosts, but I do believe in the ghosts of the theater. And I think there are a lot of great ghosts in the Hudson. They did a beautiful job renovating that theater.
They did. It's a beautiful
really,
theater.
really lovely.
Well, I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited for everything.
Paul,
And you're going to see me at The Inheritance sobbing and laughing and
I cannot
cheering.
wait to see you there. You'll come back after and we'll drink in the dressing room.
Is that what happens back there?
Yeah.
A lot of that happened with Patti LuPone when you were in London, right?
Oh, my goodness.
She was in company,
Yes, and Patty is a great old friend of mine, like a family member. My partner and she have been best friends for many, many years.
Right.
Patty is the best person to be out of town with. She loves being on the road. She's a gypsy, and she's like, and I would be like, I can't believe it. We're here another, she's like, doll, we're in London.
Cocktail.
Yeah, let's have a cocktail. Yeah, she's the best. I'm so excited about that too.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a great production.
Company, it's called,
Yeah, Company. That's the name of that show. Right. Who wrote that?
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Paul.
It's a pleasure as always. And everyone, please go see The Inheritance. Go see Plaza Suite. It's all going to be amazing. A lot of John Benjamin Hickey to go around. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.